Good morning, my dear friends. Today we'll discuss about the herbs as raw material and processing of herbal raw materials. So this topic is belongs to first chapter under syllabus. So let us start with the herbs as raw material. So herbs, you know, herbs are the herbs we are using as a raw material, and we have to process this raw material. And after processing these raw materials, we have to we can use as a finished formulation or finished goods. So how to process the raw material, herbal raw materials, and what is meant by herbs, and how it is acting as a raw material for the field of pharmacognosy. So herbs, nothing but the it consists of entire plant or any part of the plant which may be obtained from the plant source called as herbs. Maybe entire plant or any part of the plant is called as herb. So what is meant by herbal drug? So these drugs or this consist of the plants or any other plants, usually in unprocessed or a crude form, which is having medicinal value. It's called as herbal drug. It consists of the plants or any part of plants, usually in unprocessed or crude form or raw form, so which may be having a medicinal value. So they may include different parts of the plants, like entire plant. Sometimes we can use entire plant material as having medicinal value. Sometimes we'll be using as the flowers. Sometimes we'll be using seeds or barks, leaves, roots, rhizomes, etc. So we can use the different parts of the plants as herb or as herbs as raw material. So these constituents are chemical constituents which are present in the plants and also have their therapeutic activity in the plants, and sometimes may be known or sometimes may be unknown. Sometimes you may know the what is the activity present in that particular plant, but sometimes we may not be knowing about the therapeutic activity and as well as the chemical constituents about that particular plant. So next is herbal drug preparation. So it is nothing but they are processed forms of the herbs. So herbs can be processed, called as herbal drug preparation, and they are derived from the herbal drugs by various techniques like extraction, supercritical fluids extraction method, fractionalization, purification, concentration, fermentation, and maybe in the form of powders, extracts, tinctures, fixed oils, volatile oils, resins, gums, etc. They contain a mixture of various constituents. So herbal drug preparation, so they are processed forms of herbs. They are derived from herbal drugs by various techniques, by extraction, by supercritical fluid extraction method, fractionalization, purification, concentration, fermentation. So to get the powders, extracts, tinctures, even decoctions, fixed oils, volatile oils, resins, gums. So what is meant by herbal medicinal products? So after making herbal drug preparation, so we can make the herbal medicinal products which contain exclusively herbal drugs or herbal drug preparations, which are made from one or more herbs. Sometimes we can use a single herb. Sometimes we can use the in combination of the herbs. So it includes various herbal formulations like tablets, syrups, capsules, semi-solid dosage forms, solid dosage forms, and liquid formulations. And also they contain the herbal excipients and in addition to the active ingredients. Already we have discussed about the herbal formulations and herbal excipients and herbal cosmetics we have discussed. So we know about how to make the tablets, how to make the syrups, mixtures, tablets or capsules, maybe semi-solid dosage forms, and even herbal excipients and all. So what are the different sources of the herbs? So herbs are medicinal plants, can be obtained from two sources. So they are one is wild source and the other one is cultivated source. So wild source and cultivated source. So these two are the source of the herbs. To get the herbs, so there are two sources. One is wild source and other one is cultivated source. In wild source, the plants are obtained from the wild source such as forest, plains, river banks, etc. Obtaining herbs from wild source is economical and less time consuming, a decreased cost of labor. However, it also offers various disadvantages such as quality of the plants cannot be predicted due to the various environmental changes. So wild sources, so we are not in a position to supply all the resources. So directly as such the plant grow without any sources. So they may grow naturally. So they are called as wild sources, and especially wild sources in the forest and maybe in the river banks or maybe the plain area, we may get some sources from the wild, and they may be economical because of we are not meeting any requirements for the to making wild sources, and maybe less time consuming and maybe decrease the cost of labor because we are not investing any money for the wild source. As such, the plant grow, and we can go for collection of the those wild sources, and we'll be getting the yield. So, but here one disadvantage for the wild source because sometimes quality may not be there in the wild sources because of lack of the proper resources. Maybe like we are not maintaining the like harvesting, maybe what do you call maybe soil requirements or maybe elevation, rainfall, irrigation, temperature, light, pH conditions. So all this is your organic fertilizers and even growth hormones. So all this is we are not supplying for the wide sources, and as such the plants grow and may have sometimes less quality compared to the cultivated source. So the plants will not be uniform in size because of the wild source. No, we cannot get the uniform size of the plants and size and growth of the plant and our yield also. We may not get the proper yield of the wild sources because of, so they are obtained directly. And so modern scientific techniques cannot be applied to the increase the yield as well as quality because of their wild sources. We cannot apply the modern scientific resources or techniques to get the good yield or quality. And if the plants are obtained continuously from wild source for prolonged periods, it may lead to the depletion of the raw materials from the wild. So if you get the continuously same sources from the wild, and what happens here, depletion of the raw materials because of continuously there is no what do you call there is no crop rotation or maybe no. So the plants growing continuously without any this thing. So it may depletes the raw materials from the wild sources. So second one is cultivated sources. So it is very important technique, cultivated source. So in recent times, medicinal plants have been systematically cultivated by applying modern technical, modern scientific techniques. So we have more advantages comparing to the wild sources, this cultivated source. So cultivated source, what I explained already, what I told. So we have to meet all the requirements since from beginning of the soil requirements, type of soil, even elevation, temperature, light, and the pH conditions, and rainfall, water source. So even growth hormones, organic fertilizers. So all these things we have to supply to the cultivated source. We have to cultivate the plant so that the plant will have a good quality and good purity and better yield, and more profits will get in the market. So comparing to wild source, because of we are spending a lot of money to get the and to grow the plant by cultivated source, so that we can expect good yield from the cultivated source, and good quality we can expect, and the purity we can expect from the cultivated source, and also ensures regular supply of raw materials. So general raw materials, after getting these raw materials, we have to supply to the pharma industry or any manufacturing industries. We have to supply these raw materials continuously. So regularly we have to supply these raw materials to the industry so that I think there is no gap. There should not be any gap in between the supplying of the raw materials to the industry. If you have any gap in between, so that what happens, so they may not, I think they may not process their finished goods because of lack of supplying these raw materials. So we have to ensure regular supply of raw materials from our side to the industry, so that continuously they'll be running the industry and they'll be getting good profits in the profits. So and also can apply modern scientific techniques like tissue culture, genetic engineering, hybridization, polyploidy in case of cultivated source. Whereas the white source, we can't apply this modern scientific techniques. So because of we are not doing anything there, and we can't apply all these things. Whereas cultivated source, we can apply tissue culture, and we can apply genetic engineering, and we can get the hybridized variety of the plants, and even polyploidy mutation. So all these techniques we can adopt for the cultivated source, and we'll get the new varieties and hybridized varieties. Even by genetic engineering, we may get a transgenic plants, and even by tissue culture, and we can raise a tissue inside the laboratory conditions using the culture media, different culture medias. We'll be getting the we can raise a tissue, we can grow a tissue inside the aseptic area using different culture medias. So all this all these things we can apply in cultivated source. So next, what are the different steps involved in the selection, identification, and processing of herbal raw material? So selection, identification, processing, very important for the herbal raw material. So selection, so the species or botanical variety selected for cultivation should be the same as specified in the official pharmacopoeia or national documents. In case of newly introduced medicinal plants of the variety selected for cultivation should be identified and documented. So selection and identification both are very important, and we have to select properly this different species by consulting with the plant botanist or botanical survey. So is that the good quality of the seeds or whatever it may be, any part of the plant for cultivation, so that that should be in the official pharmacopoeia. Same thing should be specified in the official pharmacopoeia or national formulary or documents, so that we can select those herbs for the processing of the herbal raw material. And next is identification, also very important. Identification and authentication, and we should identify the. I think already we have discussed about evaluation, revolution. I think we have this identification, even quality and purity. So identification is very important, and we can consult any plant botanist, and we can show the. We can ask the about our plant or our plant-based drugs, and they will identify, and they will tell you. Plant botanists or qualified botanists will give the all information about that particular plant, where the plant is growing, and they may show the herbarium sheets and all. They may show that particular plant, and they may even give all the informations about that particular plant by consulting with the plant botanist or qualified botanist. So we can identify and we can authenticate. So because authentication is also very important. If you're not authenticating properly these plants, and what happens ultimately, you may lose your time, you may lose your money and all. So that identification and authentication is very important. Once identify and authenticate from the qualified botanist, and you can record in the institute no, they can record the what and all your specimen copies will be submitting to the institute, that can be recorded. So specimens in case of new plant with medicinal properties whose identity is not known, the specimen of the plant should be submitted to the National Herbarium for identification and documentation. So what I have told, we can submit to the specimen in the institute, so that they can preserve the specimen, and they can make herbarium. They can make herbarium, and they can show us for identification and for the documentation purpose. So next, seeds and other propagation materials. The suppliers of seeds and other propagation materials should specify all the necessary information relating to identity, quality, and as well as breeding history. The seeds and propagation materials should be free from contamination and diseases in order to promote healthy plant growth. So seeds and other propagation, I think there are two methods for cultivation. One is sexual method, and other one is asexual method. In sexual method, we'll be using directly seeds, that is called as sexual method. And asexual method, we'll be using other parts of the plant, it's called as asexual method. So for propagation, seeds should be good quality, and they should have a good identity, good quality, and good purity. So selection of the seeds Also, very important, from suppliers, we get the seeds. The seeds can be used for the propagation, seed propagation. After propagation of the seeds, no, so germination takes place. After germination of the seeds, no, then we can transplant this plant to the open fields. So from there, it may grow further, and then we can go for a cultivation and then collection. That is the general this thing. So cultivation of medicine plants requires intensive care and management, as various factors such as environment, soil, irrigation, pest, etc. play vital role. So what I told, for cultivation of the medicine plants, we have to take care, and even so there are many factors for the cultivation of the medicine plants. So one is environment and even soil conditions and even irrigation, pest, and they play vital role in the cultivation of the medicine plants. So these factors vary from one plant to another, and scientific documented methods should be followed. If no data available, traditional methods should be adopted and systematic methods should be developed through research. So if scientific documents method should be followed, we have to follow some scientific document methods. So before going for the cultivation, and sometimes if any data is not available, and we have to adopt some traditional methods, even traditional people, how they are cultivating the plants. So we can adopt these traditional methods for the growing the any plant or cultivating any plant, and also we can develop the uh, through research. Through research, we can develop the our cultivated sources. So even we can go for the good agricultural practices, that is called as GAP, good agricultural practices in cultivation and conservation agriculture, which aims to improve, conserve, and make more efficient use of the natural resources. So we can adopt this good agricultural practices, that is called as GAP, for cultivation and even conservation of the agriculture. And main aim is to quality improve the quality of the raw material and even medicine plant material. So we can adopt the good agricultural practices and even for the using efficient use of these natural resources. So next is collection of the herbs. So for the collection of the herbs, medicine plants, a proper time should be selected. So after cultivation, we have to go for the collection. So the collection is very important for the marketing. So if you want to market your goods, collection is very important. So because the reason behind that is the preparation of the drugs are to stabilize them in transport and storage. So while going for transportation and for storage, so we have to prepare the drugs or our raw materials or maybe collecting after harvesting. So they should have a proper stability conditions, so that and we can even absence of the foreign organic matter and substitutes. So even market preparations of the food drugs also takes care. So we can have a good elegance and a good appearance or good property, that is pharmaceutical elegance. So while preparing the drugs for the marketing or processing, so we have to adopt some several methods to meet the standard pharmacopoeial requirements. As per the standard pharmacopoeial requirements, so we have to meet all these requirements as per the pharmacopoeial standards. So we can go for the collection. So collection is nothing but the harvesting. So we have to go for the harvesting. So after harvesting, then we can follow the other these things. So once cultivation completes, then we have to go for collection. So herbs are selected for the collection at stage when they yield maximum amount of chemical constituent. That is very important. So after cultivation, so during collection time, when you have to collect exactly that particular plant material, so that is important, because of you should get the maximum amount of the chemical constituents. To get the maximum amount of chemical constituents, and so we have to go for the collection or harvesting. And even here by harvesting or by collection, we have to appoint some skilled laborers, and so that they can the skilled labor should be trained, so that they can identify properly, and even they can go for the proper harvesting methods to collect the that herbs during proper stage. That stage is very important. during the stage when you have to collect the herbs or maybe when you have to go for harvesting, that stage also very important. Maybe winter season, nothing but season. So when we are able to collect the herbs, so the age of the plant also playing very important role here. As age of the plant, maybe duration of the plant, maybe 1 year or 2 years or maybe 3 years or maybe 6 months. So even what happens during that age also important here. The disease plant should be rejected from that. So season of the collection should be also considered while selecting the plants for the collection. The season of the collection, as I told, winter season, summer season are like no when we are able to collect the herbs. The season is important, and one age of the plant also important for the collection of the raw material. So next is processing of the raw material. So I think I can give some examples of the collection of the plants, especially the drugs which constitute leaves and flowering tops of plants collected just before the reaching their flowering stage or maturity. So before maturity period, we can collect the leaves and as well as the flowering tops. And whenever the plant gets maturity, that time you have to go for the harvesting or collection. Is the example senna and digitalis and even vinca, belladonna, all these leaf drugs and even now flowering plants, and they are collected so as per the flowering stage or maturity stage. And even flowers need to be collected just before pollination or and even sometimes no even like their before their full expansion, we can go for the harvesting or collection. Example saffron or kesar, and even flowering buds, and even arnica and chamomile, all these plants no then they can follow for the when they will be going for the collection and all. And even sometimes collection during the weather conditions are important. Weather conditions also important. Sometimes generally they are going for the dry weather conditions. So dry weather conditions, they can go for the collection of the herbs. And even boss, we can collect the spring season or maybe summer season. We can collect the this bark containing drug, especially whenever the bark is having the cambium part is present in the bark, and the cambium should be active. The cambium should be active. That time only we have to go for the collection of the bars. And even say for example cinchona. Cinchona is bar containing drug. We can collect this cinchona bar by coaxing method, by uprooting method, and even wild cherry bark can be collected in autumn season. So these are all some examples of the collection of the herbal raw materials. After collection and harvesting, then we have to go for the processing of the herbal raw materials. The processing of herbal raw materials involves various stages, so from which crude drugs can be undergoing for the harvesting and then processed. So this processing of the herbal raw materials can be classified into two types. One is primary processing, and other one is the second one is secondary processing. And primary processing and secondary processing is important for the processing of the herbal raw material. So cultivation of medicinal plants is also known as propagation. What I already explained about the cultivation. And once cultivation completes, then we have to go for the collection. Then after collection, then processing. So the propagation, known as propagation, which can be done by sexual method and asexual method. And after completion of cultivation, the processing of herbal raw materials involves various stages. So what I told, primary processing and followed by secondary processing. So what is meant by primary processing? Primary processing includes the simple processes by which herbs are prepared, like sorting of different pots, garbling, cleaning and drying, etc. And once you go for a harvesting, after harvesting, no, you have to go for processing. In processing, no, so we can separate the plant pots into different pots, and we have to go for the different methods for the primary processing. So one is called as garbling method. So is one of the important primary processing method. So garbling is nothing but this process helps in ensuring the purity and cleanliness of the harvested material. So once completes the processing, so we have to go for a garbling method. A garbling method is ensures the purity of the plant and even cleanliness of the harvested material. So cleanliness, and sometimes no this processing material having a dirt and maybe soil mixed with soil, maybe dust, sometimes impurities. like sometimes insects will be there, sometimes dead tissues, and even residual non-medicinal plants which are present in the plants, and all those things in the raw material, all this is present. We have to separate all these things, and we have to separate this by garbling method, and to get the purity and to get the cleanliness, mainly to get the cleanliness, we are going with garbling method. So this process depends on the part of the plant to be prepared. The process may involve the removal of the dirt and other foreign organic matter, and discarding damaged parts. So peeling of barks, sieving, trimming, removal of hairs from the roots, removal of seeds from the fruits, stripping of leaves and stems. So this may be done by mechanical means, or maybe sometimes performed manually. Sometimes manually we can go for a garbling method, and sometimes by mechanical method we can go for a garbling. So like sieving, trimming, and removal of hairs, and removal of roots from hairs, and all those things, and even the removal of seeds from fruits and all. No, we can stripping can be done. So next, once completes the garbling method, then we have to go for a washing method. After garbling method, herbal raw material should be cleaned well to remove the traces of the remaining soil and even dirt and other impurities from the surface. The roots, rhizomes, and tubers are washed with clean water during the washing process, and scraping and brushing is necessary. So washing also very important. After garbling method, then we have to go for washing. Say for example, ginger rhizome actually having some dust particle, adhering materials like soil and other impurities are present in the ginger rhizome. So we have to wash with water several times. Then we can go for a processing of the ginger as a rhizome. So washing is also very important. We have to wash with water several times, and then we can, after washing, then we have to go for the parboiling method. After washing, we have to go for parboiling method. After washing, certain herbal raw materials need to undergo parboiling process, in which they are put into boiling water for a short period. This may help in improving the storage life of the raw material and prevent insect and mold contamination. It may also facilitate the further processing, such as removal of the stubborn impurities as well as outer coats and covering materials. So after washing, so we have to go for the parboiling method. It's a simple method. We have to go for a boiling of the drug with water for short period of time. So after boiling with water, it may improve the storage conditions of the raw material, and also sometimes it may have some impurity like insects and mold that can be easily prevented by the parboiling method. So we can also facilitate the processing of the removal of the other impurities, and as well as the sometimes outer coats and covering materials also present. Those things can be removed by the processing. So after completion of parboiling method, then we have to go for leaching method. It is also a very simple method, and sometimes some impurities can be present in the herbal raw material, and these things can be removed by subjecting the plant material under running water, is called as leaching method. Using running water, we can the plant material can be washed with running water. That is called as leaching method, so that we can eliminate the impurities which are present in the herbal raw material. So, however, the time bound of leaching should be controlled, so that I think we can't go for much time for the leaching, so that sometimes it may lose the chemical constituents. Sometimes we may lose the chemical constituents, and that's why so no need to go for that much more time for leaching method. So after leaching method, we have to go for drying method. In some cases, the plant, that is drying, is also very important. So once complete the washing, garbling, all these methods, we have to go for drying. And in some cases, the plant material should be thoroughly dried after washing in order to prevent the deterioration and degradation of the active constituents. So if you are not drying properly, so I think it goes for the deterioration, and the raw material may be degraded, and maybe ultimately the loss of the chemical constituents or active constituents. And drying is very important here, and they must be dried immediately to remove the moisture and reduce the damage due to microbial and mold contamination. And after completion of the garbling, washing, and all, immediately we have to dry the herbal raw material, so that we can remove the moisture, because moisture present in the uh, herbal raw material, that should be within the limits of the pharmacopoeia. And if sometimes it present more or excess moisture, it may lead to the degradation or maybe deterioration. So we have to even sometimes damage takes place the this raw materials, and due to the microbial contamination and mold contamination. So drying also can prevent the sometimes activation of the enzymes. So you can activate the enzymes during drying. So otherwise it may degrade the active constituents or active chemical constituents. And also to go for a grinding and milling of the raw material, and we have to go for the drying. So without drying, we cannot go for the grinding method and even milling method. Even we can't go for a making a powder or a, what you call like pulverization. So pulverization we cannot do without drying. So we have to go for drying first, then we can go for a pulverization using grinding method or milling method of the raw material. So there are different types of the drying methods, and one is natural drying and other one is artificial drying. In natural drying, we can use sun drying method, and directly we can dry the herbal raw materials using sun. That is called as natural drying. So direct sun drying. Sometimes we can use shade. We can dry the herbal material. Say for example, like digitalis clove senna, they can develop the natural color by natural drying. And sometimes volatile principles like the peppermint oil that also may be retained drying in shade. So this volatile oils can be dried in the shade because of they are the easily gets operated. We can't go for natural drying. Even other drugs like digitalis clove and all we can dry using sun drying. And even sometimes the drugs which are quite stable to the temperature and sunlight, like acacia, trichon, agar, all these gums, no, they are stable. They are stable, and we can dry outside using sunlight, so nothing will happen. So next is artificial drying. So drying by artificial means includes we are using the oven in the laboratory conditions. No, we're using the hot air oven and even vacuum dryers and spray dryers we're using to dry the raw material. So sun drying directly we can drying outside, and whereas in artificial drying we are drying inside the laboratory, and that using oven, hot air oven and vacuum and spray dryers. So dry dryers, the drugs which do not contain volatile ions and are quite stable to eat, which needs deactivation of enzymes and dried in trade dryers. Examples: belladonna roots, cinchona bark, and tea, and raspberry and gums. So all these drugs can be trade dried using trade dryers. And second one is vacuum dryers. These they're the drugs which are having very sensitive to the high temperature. We can use the vacuum dryer. We can apply some vacuum. We can supply vacuums for the vacuum dryers. Examples: tannic acid and digitalis. And third is spray dryers. Sometimes the drugs are very sensitive to the atmospheric conditions and even to temperature of the vacuum drying. So we can use spray dryers. We can dry the using sprayers. Examples like papaya latex and pectin and tannins. So this they can use spray dryers for spraying the using the spray and drying the papaya and pectin and tannins. So next, second one is secondary processing. So first one is primary processing, and second one is secondary processing. So the secondary processing differs from the one herb to another herb, depending on the nature of the chemical constituents as well as the therapeutic properties, and it may differ from the one herb to another. So maybe nature of the chemical constituents, what they are present in the that particular plant, and even therapeutic property. So secondary processing involves the cutting, sectioning, and comminution. So in during secondary processing, we have to go for the cutting. After drying, no, we have to cutting. We have to go for cutting and sectioning, and then comminution. We can do into smaller sizes. We can cut the raw material into smaller sizes, and we can go for sectioning, and we can go for a comminution, and even for storage, so that it can easy for us to store the our herbal raw materials. And we can go for cutting, and we can sectioning, and even you can go for the extraction. For extraction also it is very easy. We have to cut into smaller sizes, and we have to go for sectioning and all, so that we can do the extraction easily, and even we can go for the storage easily. So various sizes can be obtained depending on the pot of the herb and extraction methods. It may be small particles, sometimes coarse powder or maybe fine powder. So next is aging. Aging refers to storing the raw materials for a specific time after harvesting. So after harvesting, we have to store the raw material. So that is nothing but aging. So during this process, aging, excessive water is evaporated and enzymatic reactions may occur to alter the chemical composition of the herbal material. So aging is important. For example, cascara bark should be aged for at least 1 year period to use in medicinal preparations to reduce its irritant effects. So cascara bark, after completion of the drying, after the completion of the harvesting and then drying, so immediately we cannot supposed to use this cascara. At least 1 year we should use, we should preserve 1 year this cascara bark. So otherwise what happens, it may have some irritating effects. So since cascara is used as laxative, so you may get some irritation in the intestines, because since we're using as a laxative this cascara, that's why we have to take care. At least we should dry, we should at least preserve 1 year this cascara bark. So after 1 year only we're supposed to use this cascara to prevent the irritating effects. Even digital is also one of the important example for the aging. So digital should be that leaves are the very potent, the leaves are the potent medicament, having potent medicaments, and we have to maintain temperature here. So I think 45 degrees centigrade, we have to maintain temperature, and immediately after harvesting, after collection, the leaves should be dry, and after drying, and we can go for the grinding and milling for the extraction purpose. So next is baking method. It is a process of drug heating where the herbal material is heated in ovens. The temperature of heating and duration of the baking is vary from one herbal material to another material until the drug develops a specific color. So baking method, we have to heat the drug material in the oven. So using oven here, and we have to maintain the temperature range. I think maybe we can maintain the temperature maybe 60 degrees centigrade, 70 degrees centigrade, 80 degrees centigrade, depends upon the type of the plant material. We can fix some temperature range, and we can dry the herbal raw material. So during baking method, so because all the drugs are not same, they may be vary, they may be different, and even to develop the specific color, so we can dry in the oven. We can eat in the oven. Say in this case, example like nutmeg is roasted or baked until to get the yellowish brown color. Until to turn the yellowish brown color, we can dry in oven this nutmeg. So next is boiling method. In boiling process, the drug is cooked in water or any other liquid solvent such as vinegar, wine, milk, or animal urine. So use here some vinegar, wine, milk, or animal urine. We can boil the drug with water or any other solvent. We can boil it, and even like no, if, say for example, Acorus calamus is boiled in cow's urine. So Acorus calamus is can be boiled with the cow's urine to enhance the anticonvulsant effect. So they're using this vinegar or wine or even animal urine like cow's urine. They'll use sometime to boil the herbal raw material. So next is stir frying. In this process, in which the herbal materials are put in a pot of frying pan and continuously stirred for specific period under heat until the external color changes, charred or even carbonized. So herbal materials, raw materials should be kept in pot for a frying pan, and you have to go for the stirring continuously for some time. So by applying heat, so what happens here that external color changes, and even sometimes char takes place, or even maybe it may be carbonized. Say for example, licorice roots are the glycoside containing drugs, and they can be stir frying. So this licorice roots and rhizomes can be stir fried with honey, using with honey. Since licorice is sweetening agent, and they may use the honey also one of the sweetening agent, and they can fry this licorice using honey, using frying pan, so to get the color change, and even so that the color change takes place. So next is fumigation. So it's also important, the harvested raw material is subjected to fumes. So you have to go for the fumigation. Under fumigation, we can use the sulfur dioxide. We can apply sulfur dioxide for the herbal raw material. So that what happens here for preservation and for developing color, for improving appearance, improving elegance, and even for bleaching and even for preventing the growth of the insects and molds. So we can go for the fumigation. We can apply the sulfur dioxide. We can spray with the sulfur dioxide. We can do fumigation. So what happens here? We can improve the color and we can improve the appearance and even we can preserve properly, and we can even bleaching and bleaching takes place, and even we can prevent the growth of the insects and molds called as fumigation. So last one is extraction of the herbal raw material. So after completion of all these things, as we have discussed it now, processing of the herbal raw materials, and after processing of the herbal raw materials, so finally we have to go for the extraction. So extraction is nothing but the separation of the active constituents or chemical constituents by using the selective organic solvents. Using selective organic solvents, we can go for the extraction. The organic solvents, what we are using, even water can be used as a solvent, and even other organic solvents can be used as a menstruum for extraction. So extraction, our aim is to separate the active constituents or chemical constituents by the using the selective solvents. So after using the solvents, we can go for extraction. After extraction, we'll be getting the extracts. We'll be getting extracts, nothing but the herbal extracts. And these herbal extracts maybe infusions, maybe decoctions, maybe fluid extracts, or maybe tinctures or powder drugs. So these decoctions, infusions, powdered extracts. So what is meant by the infusion? So infusion is nothing but the liquid preparation. So obtained by extraction of the herbal material with either cold or hot water. Using cold water, hot water. So without boiling. So without boiling, just we can go for maceration. So using a liquid, any liquid, is a liquid infusion liquid preparation, and without boiling, just we can macerate the drug with liquid. So using cold or hot water, using water, and we can go for a infusion. So infusion, one type of the extraction process, and even decoction, it is also liquid preparation. It is, I think, we have to boil the herbal material with water. So to boil the herbal material with water, that is nothing but the decoction method. And next is fluid extraction method. It's also again a liquid preparation, and it is it is obtained by maceration method or percolation method, and even sometimes using alcohol as a solvent in the fluid extraction method. So next is tinctures, and it's also dilute alcoholic preparation, tinctures, and maybe it may be I think mixed with one part of the herbal material with the 5 to 10 parts of the solvent. We can mix with the one part of the herbal drug material with the 5 to 10 parts of the solvents. We can make a tinctures, and next is powder extracts. Even after completion of the herbal raw material preparation, we can go for the processing, and after processing, no, we can get a dried and granulated or powdered materials. So these powdered materials, all these things, no, and we can even we can go for a I think these are ready to use as a medicinal agent once completes the extraction, even infusion method, decoction method, or all these methods. So they may be ready to use as a medicinal agent. And even this medicinal agent, even sometimes we can further process to get the finished products such as tablets, capsules, and pills, even other dosage forms. We can go for the further processing to get the all these dosage forms. So this completes your chapter this herbal herbs and herbs as a raw material, and processing of the herbal raw material. So this is I think the syllabus, the first chapter. It is actually they mentioned in the first chapter in the syllabus. So this I complete the even it will continue next class about other like pest and pest control, the same chapter, and even good manufacturing practices, GMP, under same chapter. Okay, thank you.